So I do what's in my heart when I feel is right. Like I said, one of the things I did that will always stay with me. I was a kid, I was probably about 9 to 10 years old, and like I said, we lived in a community that was very diverse. A lot of Jewish people had a lot of Jewish stores or something, delicatessen. This Jewish woman, elderly woman, and we kids, our life was on the streets. We didn't have any playgrounds, so we played ball in the streets or whatever, because there weren't that many cars. This is in the 30s. And so the cars were around with all these old, today they call them junk cars, but the antiques.
Yeah, Model T.
So we're playing on the street. And so this woman came to the store, delicatessen, buy whatever she wanted. So when she beat up, she had a little dog with her. And so the dog, she put the dog down on the ground, and she had a bag or something she was carrying. And the dog ran out of the street, and when it did, a car came and myself and a couple other guys, we was near this rabbi's house where he butchers the chicken. And we kids, when the rabbi here, he'd say, "Hey Billy, we got one here for you." I'd go and I'd pluck the chicken, because the Jews wanted the chickens all
defeathered.
Huh?
To defeather it?
Yeah, I would take it nice and clean, and then we'd put it in a bag and we'd give it to the woman. Because always the men didn't do it, but always the women who came get the chickens and stuff like that. The chicken be all clean. And the car just squashes kind of, so it was like the whole plan. So everybody would get excited, but nobody wanted to get near this dog. So this poor woman is crying right there at the dog. And she's falling on the ground. And I don't think I was probably no more than maybe 10 years old. Even the guy that killed the dog. But you're not afraid to touch the dog because it was a mess. It was nothing but blood. I went and picked the dog up, put it to my chest. The woman screamed, she was crying. I said, "What do you want me to do?" "Can you take it home with me? If I can take her home." So I did. She told me where she wanted to bury it in her yard, so I did a hole. But that picture always remained with me, and everybody said, "You are crazy." I went home with all this blood on. My mother thought I was killed, and she flipped out. So went from one thing to another, and it just resonates, like as I'm talking to you, I can see this picture in my brain, and it was something that stayed with me all my life.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing to me, because as you're talking, I could see your eyes got watery, right? And that's another life. Like sometimes I feel like we live in a world where empathy, we have a deficit of empathy. We have a lot of things, we have a lot of money, we have a lot of distractions, but what we don't have a lot of is connection and empathy. And to have empathy for a living animal that lost his life, and that didn't happen today, it didn't happen yesterday, that happened damn near 80 years ago. And you still carry that impact of that life and what happened with that life, and also the fact that you were willing to, your empathy was not only for the animal, but for the woman, because she couldn't carry it. So you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation to carry it, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that because I feel like too, as men, like growing up, like I was telling someone recently, this summer I almost cried once this summer, and it's not something I'm proud about. I'm not proud that I can't cry. Right. Like there was a point in time in my life when I was younger where they used to say to me, "I'll give you something to cry about," and I learned to shut that down. Like I cried when my mom died, and then I shut it off. And then I see my siblings, and I see their reaction to my mom die. I cry, and then I didn't cry again for 5 or 6 years, and I was proud of that. Like I haven't cried. And now that was when I was younger. Now I'm 43 years old. And this summer, someone said something to me outside of at a protest. It wasn't a sadness cry. It was like a sadness I didn't even know that was happening. And as soon as I felt it coming, I was like, oh, it's coming out. Because I feel like it's a release. Yeah. And I think that as men, especially in our community, like when I listen to my elders, my godfather used to say that my great-grandfather, he used to walk from damn near Pawtucket to the point in the snow, no matter what, to go shovel coal all day. And then he would come home, and when he came home, he would just sit and he would eat, and everyone was quiet, and he was a man of no words. Like, almost like they had to shut that part of themselves down to survive. And I feel like as men, a lot of us, we're coming from generations where that happened, and that there's a need for that side of manhood to be elevated, because like it's like if you cried, it was like things that I heard as a kid, don't be a girl. No. And it's like as men, I was listening to this, I was on a conference with a bunch of people from around the world a couple weeks ago, and one of the guys was from New Zealand, and one of the women almost started crying, and she stopped herself, and he was like, hey, in my culture, he said the word for it. He said it means water from our ancestors. In his culture, they consider it a blessing that our ancestors are coming through us with water through our eyes. And when we think about what the role water plays in life, like water is life. Like without water, there's no life. And the fact that it's almost like in the African culture, they pour libations. Yeah. Like our eyes are giving libations for this emotional experience that we're feeling. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate you as an elder having that level of compassion and empathy still.
I had one other incident when I was in the military. This was in Korea. This friend of mine named Gordon Walls, black pilot, the only black pilot in the outfit. Every day, because the Korean War, things were going pretty hot and heavy. Every day we're flying missions, you know, and you never know who's going to be told you're going to fly this mission. Whatever you're doing, you have to go. And so we had loaded up his plane with 500-pound bombs, and he gets the call, Gordon, you're up. They tell me what you're going to get, interdiction, you're going to cut some rail lines, stuff like this, about the transportation line from delivering ammunition to the enemy. In this case, the Chinese, it was the Korean War, but we were fighting Chinese from Mao Zedong. And so I happened to be going out and I see Gordon walking to his airplane. And I said, hey, Gordon. He said, oh, hi, Bill. He said, where are you heading to? He says, I got to do my fifth. That's what he meant by his fifth mission. He's relatively new about that experience. So Gordon's a nice guy. He and I were getting very close together because I was in charge of his airplane, getting everything prepared so he would be safe. And so I said, Gordon, let me take a picture of you. He said, okay. So he hands tagged the picture. I said, all right. He said, I'll see you when I get back. I said, okay. He said, I'll be going maybe an hour and a half. And so I said, I'm not going anywhere. And so Gordon gets in his plane, everything's checked out. Bombs are all set to go off and all that. And off he goes. He goes off with a couple other guys had to go with him as well. So they take off, they go. And on his fifth mission, it blows up. Never to come home again, never to be seen. And when the other guys get back and they say what happened, I broke down. And for years I would never write. So the doctor told me I had to go see a doctor. I was crying. I couldn't sleep. My pillow was in the ball wet with just tears. He says, you're suffering from PTSD. What the hell is PTSD? I didn't know what that was. He says, this is all the stress you've been going through in this war. He said, you've been through 2 wars, and he says, it's just getting to you. And so they labeled me a disabled veteran because of that. He said, to this day, I still have it. You know, I pee in bed, and all of a sudden, I feel my pillows all wet. And I didn't even know I was crying all night long. And so it's things like that resonate with me. And then the other thing is that when I was like in the Navy, it was the abuse of assignments, cleaning the toilets, cleaning this. This is one where the Navy was separated, black guys. We got all the dirty work, the real dirty work. But there was the treatment there, the way you were treated. And one guy that wanted to be friends with me is from South Carolina, named Charlie Cox. I'll never forget Charlie. He was the only guy that would come talk to me, but I had no friends. And when the captain found out that Charlie would talk to me, he shipped Charlie out. So the only potential friend was gone. So I spent 6 years in the military without a friend. All by myself. All holidays, don't come home enough to spend Christmas all by myself in the barracks. Thanksgiving, all the holidays.
Why was that? Was there no other folks of color there, or was it?
What?
Was it what was the reason why? Were you the only person of color that was on the boat, or?
I was the only one, the only black person in the whole barracks.
The only one?
Yeah, out of 100 guys, I was the only one.
Wow.
Nobody talked to you, bothered you. If I went into the bathroom to take a piss or something like that, they'd walk out. If I had to go take a shower like that, nobody did walk out.
Wow.
Nothing to do with me. Just what's the problem with me? I never had. Just like anybody, I love everybody.
But
that's how I treated for 6 years.
Oh.
It was tough. And I think this, in a way, these things happen to you. And I think in the I don't know about if it's the end, but in time, you healed somewhat, maybe not all the way, but in my case, it drew me closer to other friends, to being real friends to people. Because the guys that I met that were becoming real friends of mine, they died. It was just sad. Good people died too, I guess. That was it.